is Sonny Danforth, who just previously was screened as Kevin Hoare. Previously, I was screened as Sonny Danforth. So, we have to change our names to protect the innocent when we come on board here. And we have a bunch of things to talk about. Glenn Youngkin is in town. He's governor of which state?
Ooh.
I didn't really know. See, that's how little I know about other states' politics, apparently. And then people ask me about politicians in Oregon who are not Republicans, and I go, I don't know. I don't have much. I don't have much relationship. Virginia.
You know what? In fact, I saw a sign.
That was the big upset of 2020, or was it a special election? 2021, I forget. But that was the big upset. Where, the takeaway from that was him, the Attorney General, and was Secretary of State, or no, Lieutenant Governor, I guess, were all elected Republican.
Winsome Sears. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they ran on a platform that appealed to parents. Because, parents got beat up pretty badly in 2020, along with small business owners, particularly in the state of Oregon. Not sure how bad it was in Virginia, but in the state of Oregon, small business owners took the brunt. But parents also took the brunt because parents all of a sudden didn't have school. And a lot of good things came out of that, but it pissed off a lot of parents. And so the lesson there is, if you want to win, run to the parents, or run for the parents, or at least talk to the parents, because there's a lot of parents, and a lot of parents are moving out of Portland. We've covered a lot of that stuff, but I got kind of a special thing here. I got a poll sent to me via text. I thought we'd take it, group poll. Everybody can chime in here. We're conducting a public opinion poll on issues in Oregon. All of your answers are confidential. Sure they are. It's sent to my text thing. First of all, are you registered to vote in the state of Oregon? Yes, I am. I'm pretty sure Sonny is.
Yes, I am.
I'm pretty sure everybody is. Okay, so we're registered voter. What are the chances that you will vote in this election for governor, U.S. Congress, and other offices this November? Almost certain to vote. Probably will vote. Chances are 50-50. Don't think I will vote. Let me give
I'd say 100% I'm voting.
Yeah, I'd say almost certain to vote.
Yes.
I'm not even sure why they have almost certain. I guess,
Exactly. It should say certain to vote.
Yeah, acts of God. I mean, I actually did miss one ballot some years ago. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I was traveling, didn't get back to my ballot before, and I missed a thing. So you can look in my voting record and you can hold that one against me. Generally speaking, do you think that things in Oregon are going in the right direction, or do you feel things have gotten off on the wrong track?
On the wrong track, man. They left the track.
I'm going to go with wrong track. Everybody else in the audience, wrong track? I'm pretty sure if you're here, you think it's on the wrong track as well. Yeah. Below is a list of concerns that many people have. Please indicate which one of these concerns is the most important for you in deciding your vote for governor of Oregon. Now, if we've all watched the governor's ads coming from the opposing party, the opposition party, we all know that, they think that most Oregonians wake up every morning and the first thing they think about is whether or not they will have the constitutional right to kill their unborn child, because that's the way people think, right? That's, Personally, first thing I think about in the morning is, do we have coffee?
Right.
So here's the list of things. Education, important. Forest fires, we all got a real dose of that in 2020. Homelessness, most of us aren't homeless. Abortion, crime and public safety. This tells you, I think this pretty much tells you who the polling is coming from when they use the word abortion and don't use the right to choose. Crime and public safety, inflation and the cost of living, housing costs, climate change. So what do you pick, Sonny?
Crime and public safety.
Okay, I'm going to go with inflation and the cost of living. because I don't really have any crime where I live, because I live out where criminals don't drive down driveways unless they wish to die. Below are the names of some people and organizations. Please rate your feelings towards each one as very favorable, somewhat unfavorable, very unfavorable. If you have no opinion, please indicate so. Joe Biden, very favorable, very unfavorable. I'm going to go with very unfavorable.
Absolutely.
Tina Kotek, anybody? No opinion, neutral?
Unfavorable.
Okay, Betsy Johnson.
No, she's still a Democrat.
That's true. Very unfavorable. Thank you for that. I almost waffled on that and said somewhat unfavorable.
No.
Donald Trump. I think very favorable of Donald Trump. Christine Drazen. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people do. 70-some million people in America did in this last election. Christine Drazen, I think very favorable of Christine Drazen. I don't have a problem with her. I just met her for the first time at that Washington County thing. Thinking now about the November election, if the election for governor of Oregon were held today, for whom would you vote? Non-affiliated.
I want to comment back. I want to go back to, I think favorable of Christine Drazen. I'll tell you what, with the ads that I'm seeing on TV, the way her campaign is going, she is still climbing in the polls. This is wonderful.
It is.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
It's about, other than Dennis Richardson winning in 2016, this is about as good as it gets for an Oregon Republican in the last 20 years.
100%. 100%. You're spot on right.
Yeah, it's very, very hopeful. So if I was going to vote today, would I vote for non-affiliated Betsy Johnson, Republican Christine Drazen, or Democrat Tina Kotek, or am I undecided at this late day when ballots will drop in 3 days? I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to vote for the Republican because I think that is the best choice out of the three. Any way that you dice that coin, voting record, values, general appearance.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather look at Christine Drazen than Tina Kotek any day.
Or Betsy Johnson, quite frankly.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Betsy Johnson, but let's face it, she doesn't have a chance. She doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell. She never did. She never will. I saw a tweet. I got a tweet on one of my accounts, and I won't give it away because I'm not sure if anybody knows. Some people do, but so on one of my accounts, I got a tweet from a person who was a Democrat, became a Republican, was a Republican PCP, and is now a non-affiliated. And she said that we have to go for Betsy Johnson because there's only 729,000 Republicans and 2 million other voters. So there's no way Christine Drazen can win. It's just simple math, don't you know?
Oh, don't you know? Well, I saw a post today that said on Facebook that said that, maybe we need to vote for Betsy Johnson. And so one of the comments was, oh, no, we need to vote for Romero. And I just burst out laughing. Let me tell you, anybody who is supporting Johnson at this late date has got their head in the sand or elsewhere, and they're not really looking at what's going on in the political realm in Oregon, and they don't have Oregon's best interest at heart. They might have a special interest at heart, not Oregon's best interest at heart.
Yeah. Well, people are waiting to see who has the best chance of winning to give their endorsement. Like we've seen recently, she never had a chance. And if you believed any of that, you're very gullible or ignorant or both, because there's just no math anywhere, anyhow, new math, old math that put Betty Johnson anywhere near the winner's circle.
No, I agree. But she's been campaigning very hard, like over here where I am, amongst in the Republican circles to split the vote. And and I still wonder what has she been promised. I think about that. What's she been promised to help split the vote here so Kotek gets in?
I don't know.
I don't know. And I pray that we don't find out. I pray that Christine Drazen wins this election. And I don't care if it's by 1,000 votes or one, as long as she wins this election, then we're going to get Oregon, I really believe, on a better footing. If not, and if Kotek wins, because you're right, Johnson doesn't have a chance in heck of winning whatsoever. And so if we get Kotek in, Katie, bar the doors, because it is going to be very bad.
Yeah, I agree. So back to my poll here.
Yes.
I chose Christine Drazen, and then it asked me, "Are you certain you're going to vote for her?" And I said, "Yeah." Now it wants to know who my neighbors are going to vote for. Well, I have a pretty good idea who my neighbors are going to vote for, and they're going to vote for Christine Drazen. So next question. Below is a statement related to national political issues. Please indicate whether you agree or disagree with the statement. Immigration is a good thing for the United States.
Legal immigration is good things for the United States.
No.
Legal, lawful, and legal immigration is good when you come the right way with a visa.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. I wonder why they're putting it that way. That kind of indicates to me this might be a Democrat leaning poll.
Yeah.
I often wonder if, pollsters, obviously, when you ask a question like this and you skew it like this, that could be considered a push poll of sorts. Not really, but I'm going to have to split the middle on this because legal immigration is good. I am the son of a legal immigrant. So there you have it. I wonder if I was the son of an illegal immigrant. I wonder what I would think.
I'll tell you, I have legal immigrants in my family, have Peruvians, Germans, and Costa Ricans. They all do not like the illegals coming across the border. All of them, especially when they start getting our benefits, and which is our tax money is paying for the benefits of what they're getting. And that just irks all of them to no end. We've had a lot of discussion about it, and I kind of wondered, but these are people that, like I said, they all came with visas to this country. And so
I've met one of your PCPs that is an immigrant, I believe.
Yeah, from Cuba. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome.
She is.
So here we get to the I forgot the phrase now. My dogs are barking and I can't think and have dogs bark at the same time. Apparently, we get to the political divide issue here. Listen to this question: racial inequality is an important issue that needs to be addressed. Okay, well, one would have to presume that there is racial inequality to say that, right? I mean, the presumption here is predicated that the racial inequality exists. Interesting question.
I would like to see affirmative action addressed.
Yeah, well, that's racial inequality.
Well, it is, right?
Yeah,
and so, but they don't call it that.
No, they don't. This is funny. Joe Biden legitimately won the 2020 presidential election.
Oh, he did?
That's the question. That's the statement for which I can either disagree strongly, disagree somewhat, agree somewhat, or agree strongly. Interesting, huh?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's see. Is the government agency going to knock on your door for your answer of that question?
Well, that's a damn good question. That's a damn good question. It was sent to my cell phone, so yeah, they know exactly who they're sending it to. Interesting question. It looks like what they're trying to do here is they're trying to profile what they believe to be the Trump Republican who hates immigration, is a racist, and doesn't think that Joe Biden legitimately won the 2020 election. That's kind of interesting for a polling outfit. All right.
Yes, it is. And Bobby's eyes are rolling big time.
She got the eye roll emoji.
Yeah, she goes, oh man, her eye rolls.
Oh, here we go. America's tax system is unfair and favors the wealthy over the middle class and poor. So yeah, this is definitely a lefty polling
Definitely.
outfit. Yeah.
Definitely a lefty poll. And Marjorie says she got that survey. And you know, I'll tell you, I don't think our taxes are targeting one particular one over another.
Yeah,
I do know that ultra wealthy don't pay as much taxes as the middle class, lower and middle class.
Am I a strong Republican or not strong Republican? I'll let the group decide.
You are a strong Republican.
Okay. Everybody else agree with that?
Me too.
You are.
Yep.
Am I very conservative, somewhat conservative, moderate, somewhat liberal, or very liberal? Well, you know, the actual meaning of the word liberal, the classic sense of the word liberal, I would say I'm probably somewhat liberal, but probably more conservative than liberal. So we'll go with very conservative.
Okay.
And what year were you born? I'm not going to tell anybody.
No.
Am I male or female? Oh, there's no other.
There's no other. Whoa.
No other.
Whoa.
What the hell? Somebody tell me how to get a hold of the person that wrote this thing, because heads need to roll. Male or female? What kind of binary choice BS is that?
No kidding. No
Good
kidding.
Lord.
They're limiting your response there.
Yeah. What's my cell phone number? Well,
they have it.
You get. Yeah, I'm not putting it back in there. Please enter a valid phone number. So I get to the very, very last, and it won't let me continue because I didn't enter a valid phone number. So there you have it. That was our political polling for the day, probably from the either the Kotek or the Johnson campaign, I'm guessing. Although it really does surprise me they use the word abortion.
Yes. Yeah. So Lori says, where did you send the survey, idiot? Where did you send the survey, idiot? I don't know. Well, you know, I'll tell you what, there we are. And you're not going to enter your phone number to confirm that that's your phone number. So there you are. It didn't go anywhere. But it is interesting that what they're wanting to differentiate there.
Yeah, we had some laughs. Yeah, you know, I've got this, you know, in theory, if you commission a poll, Suni, you know, you should have the final say, and you do, you know, I guess, as to what questions are asked and how they're asked. But the way polling works is, you know, as you go, let's not say somebody goes, I go, you go to a polling outfit, and we go, hey, we want to know what people think about X or Y, or we just want to know what people think. And I think pollsters take into consideration the kind of results that we're looking for. And I think it's very clear from the questions asked in this poll that there was a certain result that they wanted to attribute to people who have certain attributes, or at least they believe have certain attributes all in common. Hate immigration, you know, hate anybody that isn't white, you know, want to outlaw abortion, that kind of stuff. So it's It tells me that there is probably a great deal of misinformation for policymakers that come actually from pollsters, because we all know that everyone in DC does not utter a word into a microphone that's got a camera in front of it unless it's been poll tested. Very, very few exceptions to that case. Maybe Rand Paul and Ron Paul when he was in Congress, and maybe Ted Cruz, and certainly Donald Trump when he was in D.C. But
Marjorie
for the most
Taylor Greene.
yeah, for the most part, everybody polls it. Is it, will I get reelected if I say this? And that's pretty much what they're after. But interesting. So what the hell is going on in Portland or Oregon?
Oh my gosh. Well,
we know what's going on in Portland, right? I mean, there's people running around naked on the streets, all whacked out on drugs, stealing stuff and setting stuff on fire. So that's just a normal day in Portland, right?
Right. But you know what isn't a normal day is when a 9-time rapist is going to be released, from prison.
And not in a body bag. And not in a body bag.
And not in a body bag. And so I'll tell you, that's awful. And that is Tina Kotek's problem, actually. And a rape victim condemns Kotek's mass criminal release. So I'm going to post these two stories in here. And, because this certainly is not the norm. And of having the criminal set free. And we don't want this to become the norm. We have enough catch and release as it is already, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, even before there's, enough catch and release already. Yep, you're right. Especially in Multnomah County. I mean, Mike Schmidt virtually will not prosecute anybody unless they're a Republican or a Trump supporter or not a commie. So
both of these stories come out of the Oregon Catalyst and came out today. And so one of them is an ad, and it's not, it's Tina Kotek is not going to protect crime victims. And that's the truth. So Oregon Crime Victims United issued a compelling video of a rape victim and a victim advocate, Danielle Tudor, explaining why governor candidate Tina Kotek's voting record has putting criminals out on the street and early, which is dangerous and injustice. So beyond the revolving door of catch and release, now criminals that should still be in prison are getting released. And Governor Brown has to own this kind of thing. But quite frankly, Tina Kotek and maybe even Betsy Johnson, I don't know what her voting record was on this, but Tina Kotek voted for the failed sex offender registry program that will allow Richard Gilmore to leave prison on December 16th of this year as a level 1 sex offender instead of as a high-risk serial rapist. He raped girls as young as 13. And this is the type of thing that shouldn't happen at all. And, this is why, like in the poll, I said public safety, because it's affecting all of us in some form or another, be it the criminals that are getting released, the illegals that are roaming the streets, and the crime that they have, because we don't know who's come across the border.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know a lot of criminals have. We know a lot of drug dealers do. We know that in 2021, Oregon was overrun by cartel members who were growing illegal marijuana here. So yeah, I mean it's a cumulative effect, and
it is a cumulative effect.
Yeah, it affects everyone.
Yeah, it is. And then
When people steal stuff from the store, it affects you as the price goes up.
Well, you know what? It's not even just the price going up. Like I was at Home Depot a couple weeks ago, and while there, I was looking to get a pressure washer, a power washer, and they had bars across where these pressure washers were. So
Yeah.
I haven't been in Home Depot for a long time.
Yeah.
And I call, I find somebody, okay, I've decided which one I want. I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Actually, we just installed this." He goes, "I just installed this today. And this is just the temporary before the cages come in." And I said, "What? The cages?" And he says, "Yeah. We're putting, these cages like over everything." Well, this is the lawlessness. This is the catch and release. This is the smash and grabs, and this is the result. And I'll tell you, this is what happens in third world nations. This is what happens when you do not have law enforcement and district attorneys that are willing to prosecute the laws on the books. I'll go, "Oh, well, we're not going to do that anymore." Well, the laws are still on the books.
Yeah. Yeah. The laws are still on the books, and society still needs at least a fraction of those laws to function. I mean, you really shouldn't run around killing people, raping people, stealing other people's property. All those things were kind of lined out on a stone tablet some time ago, and they've worked well for all Western society, which has been, here's my racist statement of the day, which has been responsible for our way of life. So,
Yes.
I'm a big advocate of Western society. So I think Western society has done more for mankind than probably any other society. I think the Eastern societies did extremely well, but for whatever reason, they just kind of got stuck. I don't know what the deal happened. I don't know what the deal was. I mean, the pyramids
And then,
or
of
something.
course, you know that Biden came to Portland. Biden's
Right.
visit here to try to help Kotek get elected. Do you think that actually helped?
Well, considering that there's video of him going to an ice cream store because that's where kids are and trying to sniff some little girl's hair.
Oh my gosh, right?
I don't think so. And then somebody asking him about the economy, and he says, the economy's strong as hell. Really?
Right. No,
Really?
no. Wrong, 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 wrong.
Really?
The economy isn't, I don't know. But this is what the liberals do. They say the lie often enough, thinking that people will believe it. And there are people that do believe that.
Well,
And
most people do.
when the media is covering it in that fashion.
Mm-hmm. Most people do. I'm convinced that most people believe what they are told. I'm absolutely 100% convinced that. And the reason that I'm convinced of that, because I often before believed what I was told. And now, much to the chagrin of a number of people around me, I hardly believe anything.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't believe hardly anything. If I can't prove it with primary research myself, if it's an outlandish claim, I just have to leave it lie until I can do it. But I think most people believe what they're told. Hey, the economy's great. Republicans are going to take away your birth control and force you to have babies that you don't want. And
Oh yeah.
Tina Kotek is good for Oregon.
The fear factor. So Republicans are saying Biden's visit isn't going to have the same result as what it maybe did, for Brown. But so given the unpopularity of Kate Brown, who's term limited. And so this last ditch effort from national Democrats is proof of their hysteria as they watch Christine Drazan take hold of once deep blue Oregon that is desperate for changes. And that is from Caitlin Price, a spokeswoman for the RGA, Republican Governors Association, which has contributed more than $5 million to Drazan's campaign. And thank goodness they have, because it takes money. It takes a candidate, but it also takes money to, to win an election. And in order to have those TV ads, buy the ads, get the mailers, and everything on social media and the media.
It takes a lot of money. I mean, it was over $40 million was spent on the 2018 governor's election just for two candidates. $40 million by the two candidates. And we're going to be probably more than that on these three candidates, because I think we're at about 14, and 13, somewhere around there. Yeah. And we still have, 25 days, 24, 23 days to go until election night. Well, I guess it's more than that. We have to add a week in Oregon because, hey, elections aren't done for at least a week.
Well, but the election is done on election day at 8 p.m. The ballots still come in, but you don't get to vote anymore. We hope. So listen, I just posted.
What could possibly go wrong with that, right?
Right. But listen, I want to talk to you about this. I don't know if you saw this article. It's in Just the News, but the Supreme Court has ruled that you cannot count undated mail-in ballots. But so the GOP is suing Pennsylvania over counting undated mail-in ballots. And so
Really?
this is something that is going to affect Oregon, because it was written into the law, or the rules. They're writing the rules after they wrote the law that the legislation passed and the governor signed, that extended our mail-in to be one week beyond election day, that ballots can come in. Well, It was found that not all ballots are going to have a mark, a postmark, or the little strip at the bottom. Some can actually come in without a mark. And we discussed that. I don't know that you and I did, but I think Dawn and I did discuss this on Captive Audience, going like you just said, what can go wrong with that? Yeah. And so, so last week, the Supreme Court sided with another Republican politician in the state of Pennsylvania and invalidated hundreds of mail-in ballots that the state had previously counted, even though they lacked a date along with the voter signature. So the lawsuit Monday said, you know what? You can't do that. It better have to have a mark on that. Undated mail-in ballots should not be counted.
Right. Well, someone's going to have to hold their feet to the fire on that. Because we all know, just because any court says anything, it doesn't mean anything to people who are willing to do anything to win an election. So, if we can't catch them in the act, if we can't hold their feet to the fire on that, it's great to have the Supreme Court decision, but man, we're really going to have to figure out how to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, and now that the Supreme Court case has happened, I would say that something should be filed right now in Oregon so that it makes sure that any ballot that doesn't have a postmark on it is not counted in this election, because that's a federal law, right?
Right.
It's federal. It's one thing for a state to pass a state law regarding voting, but we have federal offices that are being voted upon. And so who's going to be representing us at the federal level? And so I think there's a lawsuit that should be filed. And by God, it might have to be something that even our state Republican Party should be doing. But it should happen. Agree. It should happen, because this is, just came out last week from the Supreme Court, that we can't do something about the past election. Although, if you don't clean up the election problems before, if there were any, then how do you move forward? So because and we have the envelopes are still there, I would assume. And if the ballots don't have a mark from the post office, they shouldn't be counted, period. You're not going to have the ballot, but you're going to have the number of ballots that should never have been counted.
Right.
That's big news. And I wanted to bring that story to everybody's attention because of what the changes that are now in Oregon. You know, before we didn't have those changes, that our election went on for a whole nother week.
Right.
You know, it was election day and that was it. If our county elections clerks didn't receive the mail-in ballots by election day, that was the end. But of course, the Democrat legislators have messed that up beyond belief.
Yeah, they take every opportunity. So who do we need to talk to get a lawsuit going?
Well, that's a very good question. You know, there's many, would you say Chair Wang? You know, and in fact, he's going to be on Friday, and this could be something to discuss with him on Friday. He's going to be our guest.
That's right. I'm looking forward to that.
I am too. I'll tell you what.
I personally never met Justin either, so it'll be good to talk to him.
I've had the opportunity to meet him and be around him a couple of times, and I found him to be very pleasant and concise in his, it wasn't just verbiage, you know, concise in his speaking, but like the letter that he wrote to Biden, you know, to come into Oregon, I thought was just great. And, you know, so I think that would be a good discussion to have with him. But we also have in Oregon, other organizations, the Pacific, what's the name of the company? The
Pacific Legal Institute.
Well, our Pacific Justice, I'm not sure. It might be Pacific Legal Institute, but we have some law firms in Oregon that have foundations that do this kind of thing, and I think that's part of, maybe those are some that should be talked to.
Right. Yeah, good point. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, by the way.
You're welcome. So, did you freeze up? No, you didn't freeze up. Okay, well.
I was pretending to be frozen. Usually you got to do something like this.
Okay.
That's the frozen look.
Okay.
Did you know as a hobby, I take pictures of frozen people on Zoom conferences?
No, I did not know that.
I do. Now, I've got some really good ones. They're funny. Not that I would share them with anybody except the person that I took them with, or the person who the picture is of. But.
So Pat Finley has said Judicial Watch covers all states, and I'll tell you what, Judicial Watch does cover all states. That's a very good point. You know, that really is a very good point. I was just thinking of an Oregonian law firm standing up for Oregon.
And there is that one, and we had one of the lawyers. Seems like his name was Ray, and I can't remember his last name, but we had him on. It was either Captive Audience, or whatever that other show is that we used to do, and I forget.
Yep. Yeah,
what was it?
It was Inside Scoop.
Inside Scoop. That's right. Yeah.
And so we had Ray Hackey on, and so we've had several lawyers on. We've had Kevin Mannix on, and so, you know, but this is damn important to Oregon. This could make or break our elections, you know, and to have something that I believe that if a ballot doesn't have a mark from the post office, you cannot prove that when it was turned in.
Right.
Not at all.
Yeah, isn't it amazing that we now live in a country, the United States of America, where it almost seems like you need to employ high-level surveillance of the public officials that some of them elected that are executing our elections? I mean, don't you just feel like you need to film them all? You know, because if you're able to use ballots that did not have a postmark, then you could just deliver those to a ballot counting station, a county clerk, and say, here's some mail-in ballots, and they don't have postmarks.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, most county clerks and I would imagine in the state of Oregon, you know, most county clerks, the largest percentage of them are Republicans, and I'm sure they're good people. I mean, wouldn't they look at that and go, "What the hell do you mean these are mail-in ballots and they don't have a postmark?"
Right.
You know?
And that's so. If the post office delivers it to you, does it guarantee that it came from them? Because you know we have post offices. We hear the stories that
I
they
have
send
a
a box
story.
of ballots.
Yeah,
They
I have a
find a
story.
box of ballots after election, and so let's see, when did they get that box of ballots?
Yeah, 400 postcards that were held for 2 months and started showing up in mailboxes without a postmark.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
There
Without
you
a
go.
postmark. That means they never left my local post office. So I don't know. It seems to me like I don't know what the laws are, you know, regarding clerks, but shouldn't the elected clerk, who is the election official in the county, shouldn't they have the authority to question a box of ballots that do not have a postmark, even if it's delivered by a damn mail truck? Because you know the USPS is in on it. You know, I mean, you know, maybe not at the highest levels, but at the local levels, I've seen it here. You know, in Cape Junction, of all places.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, I don't know, you know, and our Secretary of State, I would like to think that they could have. But then again, can they? Because our legislators wrote the law, the Secretary of State enforces our election laws, and helped write some of these laws. And it's my understanding that it does not have to have a postmark. If it came from the post office, it's got to be accepted. And I think that is illegal. I do. I think that should be absolutely questioned. Now, Pat Finley says the county clerk in Douglas County has said he would accept week late ballots referred to me by PCPs. So if a PCP goes out and picks up a ballot after election day, that their county clerk is going to accept it. And quite frankly, that's wrong because it has to be mailed by election day.
Yeah.
You know? It has
we
to
need
be mailed and by election day, 8 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. We need to get rid of that law, that 1 week law. That's crap.
It is.
If you can't mail I mean, you got 18 days to mail, or 18 or 19, 18 to 20 days to mail your damn ballot. Yeah. You know, now we put a freaking stamp on it for people. Right. You know, like that's free. Oh, look, we're providing a free service for people.
No.
What? Yeah, post office is giving you free stamps? I don't think so. 2.9 million times, you know, what does it cost for that ballot? It's probably only, you know, I don't even know what a stamp costs, 50 cents or something like that, 53 cents.
Yeah, but it's going to have a reduced rate. It's going to have a special postal rate. But let's say it's 30 cents. Let's say it's 30 cents. That's a shitload of money.
It is. It is. I mean, that's not free, folks.
No,
but you know, my point is if you can't mail it in time, and a lot of us, you know, people that do mail it, they go, oh crap, I forgot, I didn't, and you drop it in a drop box. You take it to the county clerk or wherever it is, you drop it, and you know, if you can't do that and get it done by election night, you're too stupid to vote. Okay, that's the problem. If you can't get that done, then you probably just shouldn't vote. You know, there, I said it. Some people shouldn't vote. People who don't pay taxes shouldn't vote.
Okay, what else did you want to cover tonight, David? Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? That's in the very beginning of our country. It was the landowners that voted.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And but that's not where we're at today. It is, and the people that pay rent don't realize when you vote for all those taxes, your rent is going up.
You're
You and
paying.
I
You're
have
paying.
talked about that on this very program.
Yeah.
And so
Whatever it
yeah,
is you think you're getting, whatever it is you think you're getting for free by voting, you're paying for it. I guarantee you.
definitely. In fact, look at Portland. There, I saw a little bleep over the weekend on the news that they're going, oh no, we put in restrictions on raising the rent, and they're allowed to raise. Some places are 50% increase in the rent because you know what?
Oh my
It all
God.
had to do with inflation. Look at what inflation has done and cost of living. And they're going, oh no, you can't allow that to happen. Well, yeah, you can. You know what? It's a free market,
You
and
can't you can't disallow it.
no, you can't.
No.
Personally,
But
I don't think so.
well, personally, I don't think so either. But there's a group of people out there that believe that landlords like you and me, I guess I'm a landlord,
Mhm.
we're greedy people that need to be regulated because renters are the ones that need the places to live, and it doesn't matter what we have to do to provide that.
Yeah.
Just as long as they get their place to live, and the price never goes up, even though the price of everything goes up, as long as their price doesn't go up. I've had conversations. I don't even engage in conversation like that, but I see them in community groups all the time. It's like, God, how do you people get this mentality? What school taught you that people who own the property that you're renting have no control over how much rent is charged? Wow. Schools, homeschool your kids.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with free markets and entrepreneurship and owning your own business, taking control
Yeah,
of your life. There's nothing wrong with trade schools, but there is something wrong with ballots coming in that don't have a postal stamp or a postal mark on
there's
them
something very
after
wrong.
election day.
There's something very wrong with that. So here's your homework, everybody, and here's my homework as well. We're all going to call our county clerk, and we're going to ask them about that. We're going to ask them if they receive ballots that do not have a postmark, are they obligated by state law to take them? If they're delivered by the post office, does that automatically mean that they are good ballots? And then, in light of the Supreme Court ruling, and then if they're not aware of the Supreme Court ruling, we should all probably familiarize ourselves with that. And so that we can politely and succinctly explain that to our county clerks and at least get them thinking. Because, again, most county clerks are decent people.
Yes, they are. And so this, take this Just the News article with you or
Yeah.
Google up that, Supreme Court ruling. And Just the News is a great place to start. And I think that's very good homework, David, for all
All
of
right.
us.
All right. Well, let's get to it then. Break, everybody. Get on your phones tomorrow morning. Call your county clerk and have a chat.
Okay.
And thanks for watching, and share with everyone else so they can call their county clerks as well.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.